Hi, I'm Dane Campbell. Welcome back to Change with Dane. This week, I wanted to talk about your progress in making change, especially as you've tried to identify and work with some of the thoughts that you might be having that you have felt like is not serving you well, not bringing you peace, not bringing you the success that you want in life. I know that there can be some frustration when you're developing new skills, and especially when you're trying to work with something as seemingly ambiguous sometimes as your thoughts. So let me just do a little bit of a review, and then I've thought about some areas that I've seen people in the past struggle with a little bit. These might be true for you, and if they are, I'll give you a couple of suggestions that can maybe help you in your overall effort to make changes in your life, and particularly right now when you're trying to perhaps change some of your thoughts. So, a couple of things that we sometimes forget is that our thoughts and our behaviors are things that we've developed over the course of our lifetime. And oftentimes we forget to give ourselves the patience or the compassion, which I talked a little bit about last week, to make some of those lasting changes. So if you recall, a couple of specific skills that we've talked about was naming or defining the term, or giving specific definition to things that you might call yourself or say to yourself when certain things happen. The other thing that I talked about was giving yourself compassion, the way that you would a good friend or a loved one when maybe you think about or don't do certain things or do certain things that you wish you wouldn't have. So those were the two skills that we've talked about, maybe the couple of things that you've been working with. Here's a couple of ideas or general things that I've seen clients struggle with when they've tried to make these changes. Sometimes people bite off more than maybe they should when they start this process. For instance, if you notice that there's 5 different things that you say to yourself that you wish you wouldn't, and you've defined those things, and then you try to challenge those 5 things every day, that can be overwhelming. So let's start smaller. Let's not bite off too much too fast. Let's work with one thought and practice that. And when you feel like you've gained some, ability to work with that thought and change it in the way that you want to, then maybe move on to the next one and give some focused attention to that. If a musician or a aspiring musician tries to learn to play 16 different instruments all in the same month, that would become very frustrating. They would not be able to gain any kind of competence with any of them because their focus is going in so many different directions. So maybe dial back the effort just a little bit and give more focused attention to one name or one thought or one thing that you feel like might help you gain greater success, greater peace in life. Sometimes there's an expectation that you will be able to change these thoughts or these behaviors very quickly. That may be true for some things, but depending on how old you are, experienced in life you are, depending on how prevalent that particular thought is, it might be an unrealistic expectation that that thing will change very quickly. it might take some very focused attention over a long period of time to gain the competence and gain the comfortability in being able to change that thing. And it might take time to do that. So if you're feeling frustrated because you're not seeing things and you're feeling like it's not going fast enough, that might be something that you just have to acknowledge and then allow yourself more time and more effort on that particular thought or idea or name or thing that you call yourself. It might take more time for that to actually change. And you may just have to grant yourself the permission to work on it longer and try to reduce the frustration and know that even the small effort and the small change can bring about some benefit in the long run. This next item, lack of results, can go along with wanting things to change too quickly. If you are thinking that you will be able to change your thoughts and your behaviors, and all negative emotion will disappear from your life, all negative thinking will disappear from your life, that is an unrealistic expectation. What I would like to see happen for people is that they're able to change the thermostat on their thoughts and their feelings and their reactions to certain things in life. So if you have a tendency to tell yourself things that make yourself very, very angry in the moment, the goal is not to completely eliminate the anger. That would be unrealistic because all of us experience a full range of emotions, whether we like to believe it or not. And you will probably continue to experience anger. But the goal might be to reduce that intensity of anger, or to reduce the duration of time that the anger lasts, or to reduce the negative behaviors that may come with the anger. Throwing things, yelling, stomping out of the room, whatever the case might be. So the goal that you have may be too universal, and it may be an unrealistic expectation, which is the fourth item that I wanted to talk about. So that lack of result simply may be that you're desiring a result that is unrealistic. And you have to oftentimes make sure that your expectations are going to be doable when it comes to changing behavior. As a 58-year-old man who used to love to play basketball, I can't have a goal to walk on and play for an NBA team. It's an unrealistic goal, an unrealistic expectation. But I can have an expectation for myself that I can find things to do to improve my fitness level, that I can improve my health and my well-being of my physical body. So I would like you to maybe look at what you're expecting from your change. And I would like you to just evaluate what you're hoping will come from this. For some people, just the confidence and the ability to understand and gain clarity on what they're thinking, for them, that would be an okay benefit from the effort of making change. Other people may want to focus in on something else, and that might not be enough to motivate them or that might not be the thing that will bring them peace and happiness. They may want to completely eradicate a particular thing that they say to themselves during certain situations, which can happen. So I would like you to just think about what it is you're expecting from this process. Is that realistic? And can you have compassion for yourself for the effort that you've been applying to this process, and have a little bit more patience with the process, knowing that the more that you address this, the more that you practice it, the more that you work with it, the greater benefit you can gain from this, the greater competence you can find in the skill, so that you can get closer to meeting the expectations or the desired outcome or the desired goal. I would like to go back to self-compassion, which we talked about last week, because not a lot of people are willing to engage in the self-reflection and the effort that it takes to actually change, make a lasting change in behavior or thought. So I want to give you credit if you've started this journey. I want to give you encouragement. And I also want to say that it is difficult, it is hard, and I would just encourage you to keep working with it. And you will see benefits if you continue to practice the skills and continue to work with, whether it's the behavior or it's the thought, in being able to have greater competence, feeling better about your ability to know what you're thinking and be able to change those thoughts if you desire, and also being able to add to the peace and the success that you gain in life by making a lasting change that you have put effort into. I hope that this has been helpful. I will double back from time to time just to encourage you to reevaluate the progress that you've made, challenges that might be coming up for you in this process, and maybe how to overcome some of the obstacles that you find in doing something that is not really easy and maybe very new to most of you, but which any of us with some effort can do. So thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. If you have comments, leave them below. I'll answer them there or in an upcoming episode. But I just want to thank you for watching Change with Dane, and I'll talk with you next week. Take care.